let's move on to our next topic. Alright, so this is not really the one I was looking for, but John Bobbitt speaks out 25 years after wife infamously cut off his penis. I want people to understand the whole story. 25 years ago, John Bobbitt was not a household name, but all that changed in an instant one fateful summer night in 1993 when his wife Lauren Bobbitt cut his penis off with a kitchen knife. Well, the one I was looking for it was the one the wife cut off not the penis but cut off the balls of the husband, and because she didn't receive any flowers on Flower Day, I guess. I don't know. And I couldn't find that one. So, this is something close to it. Overnight, the Bobbitts were thrust from Antamati onto the covers of every Sologus tabloid in America. They were featured in late-night talk show host Mangolas. Their wince-inducing saga was featured on evening news broadcasts nationwide, and they were chronicled relentlessly in newspaper reports. Coverage of their epic she said arguments at trial, wedged between the sensational murder trials of the Mendoza brothers and O.J. Simpson. The Bobbitt's saga fed our obsession with sensational crimes and became a staple of American pop culture. John Bobbitt said his life has never been the same since. It's all a matter of what you believe, he told ABC News in an exclusive new interview with ABC's Amy Robach. You know, I want people to understand the story, the whole story. Although Lauren Bobbitt, who now goes by her maiden name, Lorna Gallo, spoke exclusively to ABC in 1993 and 1994, she declined ABC's News' recent request for comment. A chance encounter leads to marriage. John Bobbitt was born in Niagara Falls, New York. He was 3 years old when he and his two brothers were placed in the care of his aunts and uncles, who were already raising 4 boys of their own. My mother couldn't take care of us 3, he said. She had a mental breakdown. She was a nice lady. She tried to take care of all of us, 3 of us, but she couldn't. Living with his aunt and uncle, Bobbitt said they were a family that went to church every Saturday and shared a lot of love and a lot of fighting. But I was always the one to break it up, you know? I was the peacemaker, he said. A young man, Bobbitt, enlisted in the Marines, and it was at a Marine Corps officer ball in 1988 that he first met Lorena Gallo. I was there with a friend and saw her over there, John Bobbitt recalled. And she looks shy and innocent. And I went over there and asked her to dance. She can barely speak English. And I go, here's my number. Born in Ecuador and raised in Venezuela, Lorena Gallo was the United States on a student visa. Blair Howard and Loriana's longtime attorney told ABC News that she thought John was an absolute gentleman when they first met. They started dating, but then John Bobbitt said she and her mother started pushing the idea of marriage, and as her visa was about to expire, feeling pressured, he said he agreed to marry her. He had to bite the bullet, I guess. Get married, he said. Lorena told ABC News in 1993 that it was John who proposed to her and made no mention of her visa expiring. A modest wedding ensued with a justice of the peace. He was dressed in his Marine's uniform. She wore a white wedding gown. I picked up the knife and I went back to the bedroom. I took the sheets off and I cut him. Everything went just fast. So I was happy, Bobbitt said, looking back on his wedding day. Did he love her? Well, he said, I thought I did. A strained marriage and allegations of violence. The couple settled down in Manassas, Virginia. By 1991, John Bobbitt had been discharged from the Marines, but had trouble finding a steady job. Loriana Bobbitt was working as a nanny for Jana Bissett, the owner of local beauty salon, and eventually became a ministress at her shop. She said she loved him and she wanted her marriage to work. Bissett told ABC News in 1993 interview she was going to do anything to try to make her marriage work. With her steady job, Loriana became the main breadwinner of the family. The couple started off in a studio apartment, but John Bobbitt said she wanted more, which strained their marriage. We were young, he said. We should have worked our way up. But no, she wanted more and more. So we went from a studio to a luxury apartment. And we had 2 new cars. We fought over things that we shouldn't have been fighting over, he recalled. Loriana Bobbitt's attorney Blair Howard told ABC News that she said John was never abusive to her while they were dating, but that changed after they got married. But what was the cause of you chopping his penis off? Let's get into this, shall we? 1993, Loriana told ABC News she and John were just 1 month into their marriage when he hit her for the first time. As time went on, she said he would punch her and even choked her one time during a fight. Not good, John. John said the 2 of them would fight, but he claimed he never abused her. He also claimed that Loriana was the one who would punch him. He said and he said he never fought back and only tried to subdue her, to restrain her, not to hit her. He said, I mean, if we were in a fight and you jump on me and start hitting me and I try to subdue you, you're going to end up getting some type of injury, like a bruise or a fat lip. He described Loriana as jealous and possessive. She got upset if anybody talked to me. He said, any girl, or if I looked in a girl's direction, and she will get mad. Just pow. She punched me. He continued, she'd get mad. She was just a very jealous person, very possessive. Did not want anyone around me. I think she was always afraid someone was going to take me away from her. Like I was her prize. And this is my man. This is my Marine. This is my ticket. Loriana Bobbitt previously told ABC News that being Catholic, she didn't believe in divorce and couldn't leave him because she didn't want her marriage to fail. Their fights escalated at times. They called the police on each other. Kim Chin, a now retired sergeant with the Prince William County Police Department, said officers responded to complaints of domestic violence at the Bobbitt's apartment about half a dozen times when they were together. Only in one instance were charges brought. Chin told ABC News, we arrested John and charged him with assault and battery. He got a cross warrant against Loriana and charged her with assault and battery. One of their charges was null crossed and the other one dismissed. During their marriage, Loriana admitted to shoplifting dresses from a Nordstrom store for which she did community service and stealing around $7,000 from Bissuit. Her friend and employer, Bissuit, found out and made her pay the money back. She abused Jana Bissett. By stealing all that money, John Bobbitt said she didn't need to do that, especially with somebody who brought her in, gave her a job, fed her, and we were close friends of hers. Then Loriana learned that she was pregnant. She told ABC News in 1993 that she was excited to have a child, but that John told her he didn't think she was up to the task of motherhood. She got an abortion and told ABC News in 1993 that she was afraid if she didn't, John would leave her. We weren't ready anyway, John Bobbitt recalled, so I suggest we should wait. She wasn't happy about it, but you know what you can do. Over the course of their marriage, Loriana claimed John forced her into having sex and raped her several times. The pushing, shoving, a punch here and there. Her attorney, Blair Howard, told ABC News, and then she said it carried over into the bedroom, that he seemed to be very stimulated, excited by violent sex. It was frequently, Loriana Bobbitt said in 1993, it was every time he will hit me. He will just try to force me into the sex again. It will be in the floor. He just trapped me. I feel trapped. Eventually, she decided to go to the police to get a protective order against him, but left before it was processed. John Bobbitt denies ever raping his wife or being excited by violent sex. By the time Lauren Bobbitt was inquiring about a protective order against her husband, John Bobbitt said he had already asked her for a divorce. John was 26 years old at the time. Loriana was 24. That hurt her, John Bobbitt said. It hurt. It hit her like a ton of bricks. She was crying and she was begging. She said she didn't believe in divorce, but I said it's pointless. I mean, what's the point of staying married? You're not happy, I'm not happy. While they were sorting out who would get to stay in their apartment, John Bobbitt said he invited his friend Robert Johnston from Buffalo, New York, to come down and stay with them. It was June 22, 1993, and he and Johnston decided to hit the town. I said, well, since you're here, let's go out and have some fun, he recalled. Let's go hang out and I'll show you around DC. We went out and had drinks. We hang out and meet people and talk and have a good time. And then late in the morning, we head home. By the time he and Johnston returned to Bobbitt's apartment in the early hours of June 23, Loriana Bobbitt was sleeping, but was woken up by her husband slamming a door. She said in the 1993 interview, she had some literature on rape that she had read that night and had put it on a nightstand and gone to sleep. Her attorney Blair Howard told ABC News, and he comes in and loaded with the gills with alcohol. And he decides to crawl in bed, help himself because, that's my wife. I do with her what I want. Loriana said John Bobbitt came into their bedroom, jumped on top of her, forcibly ripped off her underwear, and raped her. John Bobbitt claims that Lauren was lying in their bed awake when he got home that night, but he didn't speak to her. He just laid down and went to sleep. He said, but claims she started making sexual advances. When asked if they had sex that night, Bobbitt said he knew some petting was going on that night, but no sex. I remember her trying to play with me. I was sleeping. But I was sleeping, he said. I was exhausted and I couldn't respond to her advances either sexually or verbally. He claims he never raped her. Never raped anyone in my life, he said. Everything was down in my sleep. The sexual advances, the talking, all in a deep sleep. No idea what happened, he said. Loriana claimed that after he raped her that night, she went into the kitchen to get a glass of water. That's when she saw the knife. It was so many things coming into my mind, she told ABC News. In 1993, I don't know how to describe it. Things like from the very first day he hit me, things about the abortion, things that when he was torturing me, when he was beating me up, when he has forced sex with me. Everything It just came so fast. I picked I picked up the knife. I went back to the bedroom. I took the sheets off. I cut him. Said she said everything went just fast. John Bobbitt claims he was asleep when his wife cut him. I sprung up and I was bleeding. I was applying pressure, then immediately thought it was something out of a horror movie, John said. A nightmare turned into reality. Bobbitt said he was horrified, terrified, and thought I was going to die. That was it. I'm going to die. Loriana fled the apartment holding a knife in one hand and her husband's penis in the other. She got into her car and drove off. She said she was in such a state over what she had done that she didn't realize at first that she was still holding the penis when she got into the car. Wow. Okay. I remember I couldn't make a turn because my hands had something on them. And so I tried to turn, but then I saw that I have it in my hand. Loriana recalled 1993. I looked at it and I screamed, and I throw it out of the window. I just drive it as fast as I could. Loriana eventually drove over to Brisket's house, where Brisket says Loriana collapsed in hysterics, and the police were called. Meanwhile, John Bobbitt said he told his friend Johnston to take him to the hospital. Johnston started screaming as soon as he saw the blood everywhere. Bobbitt said he was going crazy, and he got to Prince William Hospital in about 10 minutes. Walking into the hospital, the emergency room, doctor is, looking at me and says, "Show me your wrist." The doctor initially thought that all the blood had flowed from a wound to his arm. John said. Of course, John knew there was no cut there. His plastic surgeon, Dr. David Berman, told ABC News, and the doctor, goes, "Where's all the blood coming from?" And John points down below. When the sheet covering him fell away, John said the emergency doctor's jaw dropped. Really, all I knew about this on the way into the hospital was that a penis had been amputated and the organ was missing. Dr. James Chin, John's urologist, said. Meanwhile, an officer found the penis in a small field across the street from a 7-Eleven. According to the police got the penis on ice from the convenience store and transported it to the hospital. It came to us just in a bag of ice, concealed in a brown paper hot dog bag. The main focus of the surgery, Berman said, was reconnecting the arteries, veins, and nerves so that Bobbitt would have and blood flow to the organ. The biggest concern I had is simply that I had to work. There was no second chance, Berman said. I've never seen a penile what the... Okay, something just happened. I lost where I was. I don't know. what do you guys think about this article? This is a really, really long article, but I'm going to end this topic here because now we know how she cut off his penis because abusive and the sex was being forced on her. So I'm going to take a...
Hey everybody, it's your boy Skiz here, and if you don't subscribe to Buon and the Unstoppable Denominator, then you are a toothy bumfuck, pussy ass bitch motherfucker.
In a sticks with the hicks and the firearms. You might come up.